Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is the sewing tutorial for the cutting of the men's trousers. Check the comments for details. Let's get started. Okay, so first of all, you're going to be fixing the zipper, the fly zipper at the front part of the trouser. So I have the front pieces laid on the table on the right side of the fabric, like so. So that's the both of the flaps. So the rectangular flap, I folded it and I'm going to s- stitch it down with 1/4 inch as I've marked with the pencil. So I'll take it to the sewing machine and then stitch it down. Okay, so I've closed the down parts of the rectangular flap. So carefully using my pencil to just push out the edgy part of it. Then I'll go ahead and iron it a bit. Now I'll go ahead and then place the rectangular flap down like this, making sure it is in line or it aligns with the waistline. Okay, I'm going to go down from the waist. I'm going to go down 6.5 inches. 6.5 inches. Okay, so I've marked that. Then that's my zipper, the zipper that we are going to be fixing to the front pieces. Alright, so as you can see, I've turned the zipper to the wrong side of the zipper and then I've placed it under the rectangular flap, and like I said, make sure the flap is in line with the waistline. Then I'm going to join together with the zipper. As I've placed them, I'm going to join it with 1/2 inch all the way to where the 6.5 that I marked on the rectangular flap. So I'll first of all go ahead and then pin it down before I take it to the sewing machine. Then I'm going to join both the zipper, the flap, and then the trouser. I'm going to join them together with 1/2 inch and stop at where the 6.5 inches is. Okay, so that has been done. Now where the 6.5 inches end, I'm going to give it a notch, a little notch like this, and end at where the stitch or the seam is. I turned over the zipper and then the flap, and then I ironed it a bit. Now we are going to work on the other side. As you can see, I've went ahead to place the knife like or the J shaped like flap, yeah, on the left hand side of the trouser, just as I've laid them on the table. So I also went down from the waistline of that part, also 6.5 inches. Then as you can see, I am pinning it like this. Then I'll take this to the sewing machine and stitch, join them, and then end at where the 6.5 inches is. Now, after that, I've joined that part. Also, I'm going to notch that side where the 6.5 inches ends. I'm just going to give it a little notch, about 1 centimeter, just as I did for the one that we just attached with the zipper. Okay, so I'll go ahead and open up the seam and iron it a bit. After that, I'm going to turn the flap inside like this. I'm going to place it, turn it under the left hand side piece of the trouser. Then I'm going to iron it a bit. All right, after this, I'm going to place the left hand side piece of the trouser on top of the right hand side piece of the trouser, as you can see me doing. Then and make sure it covers the zipper. The left hand side piece of the trouser covers the zipper part. Then I'm going to pin it down. I'm going to pin it down like this. Make sure when you're pinning, it doesn't include the flap that is like the J shape or the knife like flap. All right. After this, I'm going to turn it to the wrong side of the trouser like this. Then the knife like flap like this, I'm going to join it with the zipper. So I'm going to take the sewing machine and then join that to the to the zipper. All right, so that has also been done. All right, now after I've joined the zipper to that of the knife-like shaped flap, I'm going to join the down parts of the trouser like this. I'm going to join both pieces starting from where the crotch extension. I'm going to join that like so, starting from where we notched at the crotch when we were fixing the zipper. So I'm going to take the sewing machine and join that with half of an inch. Alright guys, so I just did that as well. Then I'm going to open up the seam and iron it a bit. I'll open up the seam and iron it a bit. Okay guys, so let me chip in this. It's better you knit your trouser before you join them, especially if you are using this kind of material that I'm using as of now. Just after cutting, just knit them before you continue with the sewing. Okay, so I've just joined the crotch for I've joined the crotch for both pieces of the front parts of the shirt sorry, of the trouser. All right, now I'm just going to make the design at the front part of the trouser, which is the knife-like design, or some people call it the J-shape design on the male's trouser. Okay, so as you can see, I came in from the center 1.1 inches, and then as I reach the down part of the flap, I give it a curve, as you can see me doing, to create the knife-like look on the front part of the trouser, like a J shape. All right, so that is that. I then took it to sewing machine to just stitch it down. Okay, so that has been done. When you're stitching, make sure you don't add the rectangular part of the flap to the stitching, else you close up your zipper. All right, now I'm just going to double stitch the what I just showed you. I'm just going to stitch both flaps just to secure it on, inside the trouser like this. Okay guys, so that has also been done. Now we are going to be fixing the pocket for the trouser. So on the side of the trouser, I'm going to go in 2 inches like this. Then I'm going to go down from the waistline 7 inches. All right, 7 inches, or you can make it 6.5, 7.5, depending on how wide you want your pocket to look like. Now um I'm going to connect it together like this, from the waistline to the side like this. Slant it this way. All right, now before I cut this pocket out from the trouser, i'm going to um I'm going to open up my pocket. So I have two pieces for the pocket like this. Now make sure the right side of both pockets faces each other like this, as I can then I'm going to place it under the trouser like so, making sure that the waistline matches with the pocket top, and then the side also matches with the side of the trouser. Then I went ahead to cut out the slanted pocket from both pockets and then the trouser as well. So that has been done. Now each side of the trouser is going to have one of the pockets like so. So I went ahead to apply about 1 inch um paper stay, and then the length is as long as that of the slanted part of the pocket on the trouser. Now I've turned the trouser to the right part of the fabric. Then I'll make sure that the pockets that I pick will the right side of it will be facing the right side of the trouser, as you can see me laying them down. Then I'm going to slant this with half of an inch. That is exactly the measurement you are going to be joining the pockets to the trouser. All right, So I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and then join them, both of the pockets. I'm going to join them. So after joining them, I went ahead to notch where the slant ends on both sides, like so. All right, after that, I'll just open up the seam and then iron it a bit. I'll do it for the other side as well. Okay guys, so after that, I place the pocket under the trouser like this and iron it again like this. I'll repeat it for the other side as well. So if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell, and then please like this video and share it with your friends and family. All right, so after I've ironed it on the right side of the trouser, I'm going to take it to the sewing machine. Then I'm going to be top stitching this with 1/2 inch, and then I will end the stitching at where the notches are. So this is how it came out. This is how it turned out. All right, so we are going to be joining the down part of the pocket. Now I'm going to be joining that with 1/2 inch. I'll stitch and then end at this where the notch is. I'll start and then join from the curve to where the notch is and stop at there. I did same for the other side as well. So that is it for the pocket. Don't forget to knit your trouser after this. I think it's even advisable to knit your trouser before you sew. All right. Now I'm going to pin this down like so. I'm going to pin the pockets folded under the trouser down. Then I'll just top stitch it to secure it from opening up. Okay, so I'm just going to top stitch it with about 1 centimeter. So okay, that has been done. I've secured it to the trouser. Alright, so I'm going to put the front pieces together and then put it aside. And then we are going to be working on the back parts of the trouser. So this is the back part of the trouser. Alright, now we are going to be making the darts for the back parts, the back pieces. The darts at the back pieces. Now I'm going to go in from the side 5 inches like this. I'll go in from the side 5 inches, then I'm going to go down about 3.5 inches, and then I'm going to connect the lines together. Then at the waistline, I'm going to be marking 1/2 inch on both sides of the line like this. Then I'm going to connect it to the down part of the dart line like so. So using my ruler, I'm just going to connect both half point together. So this is how it turned out. I'm going to repeat it at the other side of the trouser as well. Mind you, I'm doing this on the wrong side of the fabric. So just as we did for the other side, I came in from the side 5 inches, and then I'm going to connect that together. I'll connect it together. Then I'm going to mark 1/2 inch on both sides on the waistline like this. Then I'm going to connect the point together. Now I went ahead to fold up the darts like this and then ironed it. I folded up the darts and then ironed it. Then I'll take it to the sewing machine to stitch it down. So now I'll take it to the sewing machine to stitch them down like so. Okay guys, so that's how it turned out after stitching down the dart. I'm just going to flat iron it a bit. I'm going to flat iron it a bit. Now on both sides of the on both pieces, I'll flat iron the dart to the side. Let me put it this way. So I'll iron the dart to the side of the trouser like so. I'll do same for the other side. Also iron the other side towards the side of the trouser. Yeah. Okay, so we are done with the darts. I'm going to place them on each other with the right side facing each other to join the crotch. I'm going to be placing them on each other to join the clutch. Sorry, the crotch. Now, before we do that, I'll divide the waist circumference by 4. Then I'm going to add 1 inch for seam allowance. I'm going to add 1 inch for seam allowance. If you watch the part 1 of this video, this shouldn't be confusing because the measurement was attached to the tutorial. So as I said earlier, I divided waist circumference by 4 and then I added 1 inch for seam allowance. That's what I'm marking. Then I'm going to connect it from the crotch extension this way. So I'm going to mark ½ inch from the crotch extension. I'm going to be marking ½ inch from the crotch extension and then mark it upwards um, to join this allowance at the waistline, just as I've done like so. So I'm going to take the sewing machine and stitch it down exactly like this upward. All right, so let's do that and come back. So we just stitch that down. So I'm going to open up the seam like this, then I'm going to flat iron it. I open up the seam and then iron it like so. Now turn it to the right side of the fabric like so and open up the seam like this. Then I'm going to bring the front part of the trouser. Then with the right side of the front piece facing the right side of the back piece, I'll make sure I match the crotch side like this. I'll open up the crotch as well like this. Make sure the seam lines matches together. Then I'm going to go ahead and pin it down. Pin the crotch area like so. Then I'm going to be joining the inseam of the trouser. So like this, I'm going to start joining it from the ankle side, the bust. I'll be joining this with ½ inch or 3/4 inch all the way to the other side of the trouser. So let's get this done. So this is how it turned out after joining the inseam. Now for the side, you're going to be joining the side. For the side, remeasure the waist circumference. Divide that by 2. Then place your measuring tape like this. So as you can see, I have 2 inches remainder. Placing your finger at the 17.5 inches, I have 2 inches as a remainder. So I'm going to be joining each side with 1 inch seam allowance like this all the way down. Remember we added 1 inch seam allowance, so that's what we are using. I'll join the other side with 1 inch as well. So let me take it to the same machine and then join them. Okay guys, so this is how it turned out after joining the side. So I'm going to turn it to the right side of the trousers. Okay guys, so this is how it is. Now we're going to be making the belt hooks for the waistline. Okay, so I have this tiny piece like this on fold. So it is 2 inches like this by length, and then the length I made about 15. I cut about 15 inches. Okay, so I'm going to be joining this with half of an inch, and then I'll close one end of the um of the strap. All right, so I just took the sewing machine to stitch it down with half of an inch, just as I said. Then I'm just trimming out some of the excess of the fabric, like so. So this is how it came out. So with the help of a stick, I'm using a broomstick to turn it to the right side of the fabric. So like this, where I closed at the one end of the strap, I'm just using my broomstick to push it through whilst pulling the strap, like so, just to turn it to the right side. So I went ahead to trim off the edge that I closed at the end of the strap, like so. Then I'm going to open up the seam on the strap and then iron it. I'll open it up like this and then iron it to make it flat. You can go ahead to make parallel stitches on the hooks, or you can just leave it as it is. So I'm leaving it just as it is. Then I'm going to be cutting the hooks. So the hooks is going to be 3 inches long, like so. So I marked I measured the 3 inches and then folded it for the first one. So I'm just using that to be folding this to cut out the 3 inches belt hooks. So I'll be needing just 6 pieces of the hooks. I'll be needing 6 pieces of the hooks. So just as that, I'm going to cut the hooks out. 6 pieces of them. So these are the 6 pieces of the belt hooks that I'm going to be using for the trouser. So I'm going to bring out the trouser. So I'll be using two of the hooks at the front part of the trouser. Now I'm going to measure from the center of the trouser 3.5 inches like this. Then I'm going to pin it down. Then from the other side as well, I'm going to measure 3.5 inches, then place the hook there. So these are the two measure points that we'll be using the belt hook. So that is that for the front part. Now for the back, like this, um, just at the just at the back seam, I'm going to measure 1.5 inches, then place one of the hooks there, then pin it down. We are using the rest at the back actually. So just as I did for the other side, I also went out from the center of the back 1.5 inches, then I'm going to pin it as well. Now for the 2 pieces left at the very end of the trouser, I'm going to measure 1.25 of an inch or 1.5 inch, then place it there, then I'll pin it down. I'll repeat it for the other side also. I'll go in 1.5, then I'm going to place the hook there and pin it down. Now take it to sewing machine and double stitch each of the belt hook on the trouser. Let's do that and come back. So I'm just illustrating how this is going to be. So I'll place it under the machine like this. So I'm going to just double stitch it like this before I cut it out. Then I'll trim off the excess of the thread. This is the same way I'm going to be repeating for all of the belt hooks on the trouser. Okay, so this is how it looks after fixing the belt tools. I went ahead to take off the pins. Okay, so we are going to be fixing the waistband as well. So this is the waistband that we cut during the curtains part. Watch the part one for more details. All right, so I'm going to fold up half inch like this. Then I'll iron it all the way to the other end of the waistband, like so. Remember, we said earlier in the part one of this tutorial that the belt, the waistband is going to be 1.5 inch long. It's going to be 1.5 inch. The length actually is going to be 1.5. Okay, so that's what I'm folding up the half inch, which is actually the seam allowance. Okay, so that's it. After I've flat ironed it, I'm going to turn it over like this. So this is where I'm going to be applying my paper stay. I'm going to use the hard paper stay to apply to the folded surface of the waistband, just one side like this side. I'm just going to apply the hard stay here. Let's do that and come back. Okay guys, so this is how we came back after applying the hard stay. So I'm just going to take out the pins at the flap, at the front part of the trouser. Then I'm going to open the zipper. Then we are going to fix the waistband. Now leave about 1.5 inch away from the starting point of the waist before I join it. So this is what I'm talking about. As you can see, I left about 1.5 inch of the waistband away from the center of the waistband at where the zipper is like this before I started to join the waistband to the waistline with half of an inch, which we folded up as the seam allowance. So that's how it is. So I'm going to stitch around the waistline. All right. Now, this is it. Make sure that the waistband is going to be enough so that you'll be leaving some few inches during your sewing and then after the ending of your sewing on the waistband. Okay, so this is it. Now I'm going to be closing the ends of the band like this. So this is what I'm talking about. So that's the allowance that we left at the end of the waistband. So using the pencil, I'm sorry the camera couldn't capture this part. I'm just going to close it up like this. I make sure I marked it exactly at where the center of the waistband starts. And I'm going to close it up like so. Stitch up to where the band is. Don't stitch out through the seam allowance, which is the half-inch seam allowance. So this is it. I'll trim off the excess of the threads and then trim off the excess of the band at that end. I hope you understood what I meant. So I turned it to the other side as well. The 1.5, oh sorry, it was a 1 inch space that we left. I'm also going to close that using my pencil and make sure it matches the center or where the flap is like this. I'm going to close it up and be careful you don't stitch through the seam allowance, the half-inch seam allowance, and at where the band 1.5 inches band is. Exactly. Then I'm going to take this out and then trim off the excess of the threads. Then I'll trim off the excess of the band as well. I hope this makes sense. Kindly hit the subscribe button if you enjoy watching this tutorial up to this end. Leave a comment if you enjoy watching this tutorial. So I use my pair of scissors to carefully push out the edgy parts of the the waistband at both ends. Now after this, I'm just going to um stitch down the other side of the waistband. So I pushed through the other half seam allowance that we have at the other end of the waistband. I place my threads under the machine, then I'm going to start stitching like this. So I'm going to stitch down the other end of the waistband as well as I'm doing. I first of all double stitch. So be caution at this place while you are stitching. Make sure the belt hooks lining flat under the waistband, or sorry, pointing towards the trouser, else you end up stitching through the belt hooks as well. So try and check if the hook is under it like this, flat like this. Okay, let's continue with the stitching. So guys, this is how it came out after joining the waistband to it. Okay, so now we are going to be fixing the belt hooks at the top part of the waistband. So just as we double stitch at the beginning on the waistline, I'm just going to take it to the sewing machine. Then I went ahead to double stitch each of the hooks to the band. Alright, now on the, yeah, on the waistband, the very end of the, you can just take it to your machine and then make the buttonhole to fix your button at the very end of the flap. Okay, now we are going to be joining the hem of the trouser. You are going to be joining the hem of the trouser. Now to do that, remeasure the length of your trouser. You're going to remeasure the length of the trouser, which is 40 inches. Then the 2 inches allowance that we left, you fold it in. So first of all, I'm going to fold in 1 inch and then fold again 1 inch to do this. Now the other side of the trouser, which is being shortened, this one, don't worry about it. It's because of the crotch extension at the top of the back part of the trouser that caused it, so don't worry about it. So I folded in 1 inch like I said earlier like this. Then I'm going to iron it. I'll flat iron it, then fold in again 1 inch. Guys, please hit the like button if you haven't liked the video yet. Please leave a comment. It encourages me a lot. Leave a comment if you enjoyed watching the tutorial or you didn't understand anything in the tutorial. So this is it. I'm folding in again another 1 inch, then I'll flat iron it. So I repeat the same process for the other parts of the trouser, the other leg as well. First of all, fold in 1 inch, iron it, then I'm going to fold in again another 1 inch, then iron it before I take it to the sewing machine to uh, stitch it all round. So now that I'm done with the ironing and the folding in, I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, then stitch it all round. Now, before I do that, I will measure the length of the trouser to on both sides to make sure it is 40 inches before I take it to the same machine to stitch it around. So this is it. I'm going to take it to the machine and stitch at the very end of the hem of the trouser to join it. So this is how it's going to be. Okay guys, so this is how it turned out after stitching it on the same machine. This is how the trouser came out. Now at the pockets, you can just give it a design of double stitching at the end like this, or you can use your design machine to create any design that you like. So this is how it came out. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more tutorials. Hit on the notification bell so when I upload a new video, you'll be the first to be notified. Love you and keep being amazing wherever you are. Bye.